Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod Science classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see highlights of Union Budget 2021-2022. So this budget is very important from prelims point of view. So now let's get started with our discussion. Okay. So first we are going to discuss about Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So I took content mainly from Ministry of Finance and as well as PIB Press Information Bureau. So we attached some articles, some infographics. Mainly I took those infographics from Ministry of Finance, and whatever handwritten notes I made, that matter I took from PIB. So first infographic here, it talks about Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, and if you see this infographic, it is mainly talking wholly about what is this Atmanirbhar Bharat. So under this Atmanirbhar Bharat, government came up with this fiscal stimulus package, and after imposition of lockdown, here government came up with this fiscal stimulus package in 5 tranches. So first one, if you are talking about government reforms, it increased borrowing limits of state governments. So about 0.5% of state GDP. So based on gross state domestic product, 0.5% of increase in this additional borrowing limits of states mainly increased here. And also regarding this government reforms, it also came up with privatization of public sector enterprises. And if you're talking about energy, so especially it focused on DISCOMs. So for this DISCOMs, liquidity support is given, and also elimination of regulatory assets and commercial coal mining. So earlier we have captive mining, that means here in this coal mining also private sector is present, but now we went for privatization of this coal mining. It is not just captive mining now. And next one is reduction in cross subsidy. So what is meaning of cross subsidy? If you are taking whenever electricity which is supplied to households, okay, so if electricity which is supplied to households and also electricity is supplied to big manufacturing industries or factories. For if you see regarding electricity for households, per unit cost is just 2 rupees, I think so. But if you see for industrial purposes, per unit cost it will be 5 rupees. So here these industries and factories are highly charged, and it will be diverted to households. Households will be given for less cost. So this is called as cross subsidies. Now we came up with this reduction of this cross subsidies. And next one, if you are talking about MSMEs and industries, so collateral free loans for business, that is announced under this Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, and also fund of funds will be set up for MSMEs especially. Under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, it came up with different things. And next one is subordinate debt for MSMEs, and it is also disallowed global tenders up to rupees 200 crores. And also we came up with changing of this definition of MSMEs. So these are some important things that you should remember regarding this MSMEs. And if you're talking about social sector, so we came up with this National Digital Health Blueprint. Okay, so it is one portal we can have different information. And next one is additional allocation for MG Naregas. We increase the number of days, and also rupees 20 rupees per day which is increased under this MG Narega. And next one is we came up with this technology driven education, that is through e-Vidya and also National Foundation Literacy and Numeracy Mission. So these are some important things that comes under this social sector. And if you're talking about migrant workers, mainly for migrant workers, government came up with free food grain supply to migrants, and also government is coming up with one nation one card. Okay, so this will helpful for especially migrant workers. And if you are talking about agriculture and allied sectors, so there is concessional credit boost to farmers, and also government came up with agri infrastructure fund, and also emergency working capital for farmers, and also animal husbandry and infrastructure development fund, and amendments to Essential Commodities Act, as we discussed everything detailedly in our Hindu News analysis, and agriculture marketing reforms. So these are some important things that you should remember regarding this Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Now let us start with our key highlights of Union Budget. So if you are talking about this budget, it will comes in 2 parts. First one is part A, second one is part B. Part A mainly talks about 6 pillars, and part B mainly talks about taxation. So if you see this part A, mainly we have 6 pillars of Union Budget. First one is health and well-being. Next one is physical and financial capital and infrastructure, inclusive development for aspirational districts, aspirational India, and reinvigorating human capital. And next one is innovation and research and development, minimum government and maximum governance. So these are 6 pillars of our union budget this year. So now let us discuss one by one in great detail. First one is health and well-being. So under this health and well-being, so increased budget outlay of 137% in this budget. And in this health and well-being, we are mainly focusing on strengthening 3 important pillars of health. First one is preventive care, next one is curative care, and next one is well-being. Preventive means before getting disease, what are measures we are taking. So always we know and we always think about prevention is better than cure. So before getting disease, we have to go for prevention itself. And next one is curative. Curative means after once disease came, so whatever treatment we are taking, that is comes under this curative. Next one is well-being. Well-being is overall state, that is mental and physical health well-being, right? So this is about well-being. So under this health and well-being, we are mainly focusing on 3 important areas, and 3 important areas they need to be strengthened. First one is preventive care, second one is curative, third one is well-being. So mainly to improve health and well-being in India, so we are mainly taking some steps. So those steps include vaccines, health systems, nutrition, and universal coverage of water supply, Swachh Bharat, Swasth Bharat, clean air, scrapping policy. So these are all steps which are going to be taken by government to move towards increased health and well-being. So first one is vaccines. So regarding these vaccines in this budget, so about rupees 35,000 crores are to be allotted for this COVID-19 vaccine. And next one is we are mainly moving towards made in India pneumococcal vaccine. So we already have pneumococcal vaccine, but as of now we do not have Indian made. So because of this, we are mainly moving towards made in India pneumococcal vaccine. As of now, pilot project that is happening in 5 states. So we need to roll out across country here. So whenever we are having this made in India pneumococcal vaccine, we can avert 50,000 children deaths annually. And next one is health systems. So under this health system, government is coming up with new centrally sponsored scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Atma Swasth Bharat Yojana. So you have to remember this scheme for sure. So under this, some of interventions include National Institute for One Health, Urban Health and Wellness Centers, 4 regional National Institute for Virology, integrated public health labs, critical care hospital blocks, strengthening of national communicable disease disease centers, expansion of integrated health information portal, biosafety level 3 labs. So these are some interventions which comes under this Pradhan Mantri Atma Swasth Bharat Yojana. And next one is nutrition. So under this nutrition, we are coming up with Mission Poshan 2.0. So under this Mission 2.0, we are combining 2 important schemes like supplementary nutrition program along with Poshan Abhiyan. Poshan Abhiyan, it is called as National Nutrition Mission. Okay, we are combining this Poshan Abhiyan with supplementary nutrition program, and we are coming up with this Mission Poshan 2.0. So this Mission Poshan 2.0 mainly to strengthen nutritional content, delivery, outreach and outcome of nutrition. And next one is to improve nutritional outcomes in 112 aspirational districts. And next one is universal coverage of water supply. So as we know, regarding this water supply, central government came up with one scheme, that is Jal Jeevan Mission. So as of now, this Jal Jeevan Mission mainly providing drinking water at our rural areas. Now we want to increase this Jal Jeevan Mission in urban areas. So this mainly talking about Jal Jeevan Urban. Okay, within 5 years we need to provide water supply to urban areas. So it is one of the universal water supply in urban bodies. So important aim of this Jal Jeevan Mission Urban here is to provide universal water supply in urban local bodies. Okay, and under this universal coverage of water supply, so government is also focusing on liquid waste management mainly in 500 Amrut cities. And next one is Swachh Bharat, Swasth Bharat. So as of now, we have Swachh Bharat mission, right? So we are coming up with Urban Swachh Bharat 2.0. Some of intervention under this Urban Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 includes complete fecal sludge management and also wastewater treatment, source segregation of garbage, reduction in single-use plastic, reduction in air pollution, and also bioremediation, mainly at landfills. So these are some important interventions which comes under this Urban Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0. And next one is clean air. Mainly we are facing one problem, that is air pollution. To tackle this air pollution in 42 urban centers who have about 1 million plus population. So in that areas they are mainly going to tackle this air pollution. And next one is scrapping policy. Scrapping policy means, as we know, we are imposing this green tax, correct? We also discussed about this green tax. So why we are imposing green tax? Because whenever older vehicles are used by people, so these older vehicles that will release large amount of pollutants into air here, that will lead to increased air pollution. So because of this, mainly these old vehicles are to be dismantled, right? So because of this, mainly for phasing out of old and unfit vehicles, now government came up with this scrapping policy. So this is about first thing, okay, first important principle. So if you see this infographic mainly summarized what we discussed till now. So if you see title, it mainly says that holistic approach to health. So our approach mainly regarding strengthening of three important things, that is preventive care, next one is curative, and next one is well-being. So if you see, this also talked about mission, that is Poshan 2.0. So in this Mission 2.0 Supplementary Nutrition Program and Poshan Abhiyan, they are merged to launch this Mission Poshan 2.0. And if you're talking, we are coming up with a new scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana. So it is centrally sponsored scheme, that you should remember. Okay. So outlay here is rupees 64,180 crore over 6 years. And next one is, it is to support health and wellness center. Okay. If you are talking about Ayushman Bharat, we have PMJAY, and also next one is Health and Wellness Center. So under this Pradhan Mantri Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, we are also focusing on this health and wellness centers. And next one is to set up integrated public health labs and also establish critical care hospital blocks, and also strengthening national communicable disease centers, and we need to expand integrated health information portal. So these are important things that you should remember under this Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana. Okay. And next one is, we are focusing on Made in India pneumococcal vaccine. Okay. That to be rolled out across country. As of now, pilot project it is going in 5 states. So we need to roll out across country here. Okay. So it also talked about introduction of National Commission for Allied Healthcare Professional Bill also. So this will be introduced in Parliament. Okay. So after introducing in Parliament, we have a discussion. So this is about first pillar. And now let us see next principle or next pillar, that is physical and financial capital infrastructure. So this is important thing. Okay. You should remember many things regarding this principle. So mainly includes, it mainly talked about production linked incentive schemes, textiles, infrastructure, petroleum and natural gas, financial capital, FDI, recapitalization, disinvestment, etc. So recapitalization means we need to provide some money into banks. So it is called as recapitalization. And this budget also talked about 20,000 crore, I think so, that to be recapitalized into banks. And now let us discuss one by one which are important. Okay. First one is PLI, that is Production Linked Incentive Scheme. So under this Production Linked Incentive Scheme, that is PLI, so in next 5 years it will be expanded to 13 sectors. And next one is, it will create, nurture manufacturing of global champions for Atmanirbhar Bharat. So whenever we are increasing our production from manufacturing units, so based on that increase in production, government it is giving some incentives. So this is a production linked incentive scheme, right? So whenever we are increasing our production, then what happened? There will be increase in manufacturing, correct? So manufactured products comes into market, right? So there will be increased number of goods that will come into market. So whenever we are having increased production, so that will go to exports. So in the global level, our country becomes export driven country. So in this way, this production linked incentive scheme will be very important. And next one is, it will also bring big scale and size, and it will also increase job opportunities. So this is about this production linked incentive scheme. And next one is about textiles. So in our PIB, we discussed about one important scheme, that is Mitra. So in this budget, government came up with this Mitra scheme, that is Mega Investment Textile Park. So mainly we are going to have 7 textile parks that will be established over 3 years. So what will be advantages? Advantages are our textile products will become globally competitive, and it will attract investments in this sector. It will also boost employment, and it will also increase our exports. And next one is infrastructure. So first one is National Infrastructure Pipeline. So under this, we are focusing on 3 important things. First one is creation of institutional structures, and we are giving big push on monetizing assets. We are enhancing share of capital expenditure. And next one is roads and highways. Under this, we need to talk about one project, that is Bharatmala Pariyojana. So under this, we are increasing our roadways, and as well as we are having flagship corridors, we are also going for express highways. And one thing we have to see here is dedicated freight corridors also present, correct? So this comes under railways, right? And next one is advanced traffic management system. So we need to going to have this advanced traffic management system. So under this advanced traffic management system, we are having this speed radars, variable message signboard, and GPS enabled recovered VANCM. For this, what happened, there will be allocation that will be given from this budget side. And if you're talking about urban infrastructure, we are going for expansion of this metro rail network. So whenever we are going for expansion of this metro rail network, what will be happen? So there will be decrease in congestion, that is decrease in traffic on roads. And whenever we are moving towards this metro rails, so we can go to destination very fast, we can decrease time of travel, correct? And we can also go for cleaner using of fuels. So we cannot release that much pollutants as when we are using our own vehicles, right? So this is some more advantage here. And if you are talking about tier 1 and tier 2 cities, we are going for this Metro Light and Metro Neo. Okay. And next, when we are talking about power sector, so we have DISCOMs, right? So these DISCOMs are mainly facing some problems. So there are many challenges which are facing by DISCOM companies. So they need to be revamped, and they need some reforms, and also we need to go for result linked production. And next one is, we are also moving towards, this is very important, that is National Hydrogen Energy Mission. So why we are moving towards hydrogen? So hydrogen, it is one of cleaner fuel, okay? So it is very cleaner fuel such that we can decrease our air pollution. So because of this, we are going towards this National Hydrogen Energy Mission, which mainly discussed in our budget. And next one is, if you are talking about ports, shipping and waterways. So in these ports, ships and waterways, we are moving towards PPPs, that is public-private partnership, mainly in operations of major ports. And also we are moving towards doubling of our recycling capacity. So whenever we are going for increasing of our recycling capacity, it will also boost employment generation. Here estimate here is additional 1.5 lakhs jobs can be created. And next one is financial capital. So under this financial capital, we need to support for development of world-class fintech hubs, that is GIFT City, which are present in Gujarat. So, and also we are expecting, or we are estimating that there will be increase in FDI in insurance sector. So in insurance sector, we are increasing FDI from 49% to 74%. So these are some important things that you should remember under this second principle. So now let us see infographic. So infographic mainly talking about industry. So PLI, Production Linked Incentive, launched to create manufacturing global champions across 13 sectors, with amount committed nearly 1.97 lakh crores in next 5 years. Okay, starting from 2021 to 2022. So for 5 years, they will spend about rupees 1.97 lakhs in this scheme. So if you see this sector wise share of this gross value added, that is GDP here. So service sector mainly contributing more here. Okay, so this is agriculture, this is industries or manufacturing, and this is service sector. So service sector mainly contributing for our GDP, correct? So about 54% of contribution that will comes only from the service sector. And if you're talking about agriculture and allied sector, it is more than 17%. If you're talking only agriculture contribution, it is just 14% here. So this is about contribution of different sectors to gross value added. And next one is Mitra scheme, mainly comes under textiles, right? So Mitra scheme mainly to create a world-class infrastructure for global champions, and this sector is mainly labor intensive, so such that it can create employment and it can also improve our exports. So these are some important things regarding this Mitra scheme. And if you are talking about this graph here, so if you see, this mainly talks about road construction per day in kilometer. If you see in financial year 20, so we had 28 kilometers, okay, per day. So if you are talking about financial year 21, we are decreasing this road construction, that is 22. And if you are seeing here National Rail Plan, so this National Rail Plan mainly aims at developing adequate rail infrastructure by 2030. So in this thing, we need to talk about dedicated freight corridor also. So this is the thing which mainly said in this infographic. Okay. And if you see here, installed plant capacity. So now we are moving towards increased thing. Okay. 2019, when we are comparing to 2013 to 2014. So we had installed capacity that increased here. So if you are talking about electricity here, so we are mainly moving towards hydrogen energy mission that will be launched here. And this hydrogen is one of cleaner fuels. So whenever we are moving towards this hydrogen, we can decrease air pollution also. And next one is ports, shipping and waterways. So in this major ports, we are moving towards this public-private partnership mode, and subsidy support to promote flagging of merchant ships, and also recycling will be increased. So Recycling of Ship Act 2019 mainly talks about recycling. So this recycling capacity will be doubled by 2024, such that it will create employment of 1.5 lakh. Okay. And now let us see about PNG, that is liquefied petroleum gas or petroleum natural gas here. So under this we have Ujjwala scheme. So under this Ujjwala scheme, about 8 crore people, 8 crore families, they are supplied with this LPGs, right? So in this year we are going to increase about 1 crore more beneficiaries here, and 100 more districts under city gas distribution network will be provided. And we are also going for this independent gas transport system operator that is set up under this budget. And if you're talking about infra financing, mainly to boost this infra financing, we are came up with this development financial institution. So this mainly talks about how to increase this infra financing here, and also national monetization pipeline, that is for brownfield infra assets. So these are some important things. So if you're talking about urban development, we are going towards Jal Jeevan Mission Urban, right? Mainly that will increase universal water supply in all urban local bodies. And next one is Urban Swachh Bharat Mission. Okay, outlay of this scheme here is rupees 1,41,678 crores for 5 years. And next one is about 42 urban centers, they are going to tackle air pollution. And next one is we are going for voluntary vehicle scrapping policy. And next one is innovative PPP models for augment of this public bus transport. And we are going for extension of this metro to tier 1 and tier 2 cities. They include Metro Light and Metro Neo. Okay. And now let us see about financial reforms. Here they include rationalized single securities market code and world-class fintech hub, that is Gift City. And we are also having some important things like Investor Charter is present, and we are going to amend this Insurance Act of 1938 that will increase FDI limit, that is from 49% to 74%. And for dealing with these bad banks or NPAs, we are having this Asset Reconstruction Company Limited and Asset Management Company to resolve these stressed assets and to resolve these problems of public sector banks, that is NPAs. So these are some important things that you should remember regarding this second principle. And now let us see third principle. It is inclusive development for aspirational India. So first one is, here under this inclusive development for aspirational India, there are 4 things which are mainly talked. That is agriculture, fisheries, migrant workers and laborers, and financial inclusion. So if you're talking about agriculture, so we are ensuring, government is ensuring about MSP of 1.5 times the cost of production. So because of this MSP only farmers produce are happening, right? So government said that we are providing this MSP which is 1.5 times the cost of production, and also government also want to extend this Swamitva scheme. So this Swamitva scheme mainly implemented in 2020 April on National Panchayat Raj Day. So it is mainly talks about mapping of areas in rural areas, inhabited areas in rural areas by using drones. So this will be extended to all states and union territories. And next one is, we are government also going for doubling of this micro irrigation fund, and also operations green scheme will be extended to 22 perishable products. So this operation green scheme mainly talks about tomatoes, onions and potatoes, and now this operation green scheme will be extended to 22 perishable goods, and more than 1000 mandis they are connected by e-NAMs. So these are some important things regarding this agriculture. And now let us talk about next one, that is fisheries. So under this fisheries, government mainly talked to develop this modern fishing harbors and as well as fish landing centers. And also government came up with this multi-purpose seaweed park. This seaweed is very important because it is mainly used for consumption purpose for humans, and also we have largest demand of this seaweed in international market, and these seaweed can be also used as food for these fisheries. And also budget also talked about this 5 major fishing harbors they to be developed as hubs. They include Kochi Harbour, Chennai, Visakhapatnam, Paradip and also Pettugat. So these are 5 important fishing harbors they to be developed as hubs. And next one is migrant workers and laborers. So for the development of for welfare of this migrant workers and laborers, in this budget Finance Minister also talked about this One Nation One Ration card that to be spread all over India, and also they are coming up with one portal. So this portal will collect information about migrants. So whatever information they are collecting under this portal, they can connect, or eligible workers can be given social security, okay, under this social security code. And social security will be given to gig workers and as well as platform workers. Next one is financial inclusion. Under this financial inclusion, financial inclusion mainly done by using the Stand Up India scheme for SCs, STs and women. So these are some important things that you should remember under this third principle. Now let us see infographic. So if you are talking about agriculture, we are extending coverage of this Swamitva scheme mainly to all states and union territories. Expansion of this Operation Green scheme that will include about 22 perishable goods, and 1000 more mandis they will be integrated with e-NAM. Okay. So if you are talking about here MSP, here MSP is rising only. Okay. So this is MSP of paddy here, MSP of wheat here. So they are increasing only. If you are seeing here from 2018 to 2019 onwards, there is increasing in MSP, there is no decreasing here. So this is the thing that you should remember. And if you are talking about fisheries here, mainly this budget talked about development of modern fishing harbors and fishing landing centers, and they will come up with multi-purpose seaweed park to be set up in Tamil Nadu. And next one is migrant workers and laborers. So regarding this migrant workers and laborers, government came up with One Nation One Ration card scheme, which is under implementation in 32 states and union territories, and they also came up with establishment of one portal. So that portal will be launched mainly for ZIG as well as other construction workers. So data will be collected in this portal, and social security benefits will be extended to ZIG workers and as well as platform workers. Okay. So this is the thing here. So if you see share of casual labor in 2018-19, so rural labors are very high. And now let us see fourth principle, reinvigorating human capital. So under this there are 4 sub things mainly discussed, that is school education, higher education, SC, ST welfare, skilling, etc. So first one is school education. So regarding this school education, government is mainly trying to implement national education program. Okay. And next one is government is coming up with new 100 Sainik schools were set up mainly in partnership with NGOs, states and as well as private schools. And next one is regarding higher education. So regarding higher education, a legislation, that is a law to be introduced for setting up of this HECI, Higher Education Commission of India. So this HECI will contains four separate vehicles. They include standard setting, accreditation, regulation, funding, etc. And next one is Central University at Leh, which is come up by government. And if you are talking about scheduled caste and scheduled tribes welfare, so for this scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, government is going to set up 750 Ekalavya model residential schools. And also regarding this STs, government is coming up with revamped post-matric scholarship schemes for SCs. So these are some steps that will be taken by government. And if you're talking about skilling, here government proposed amendment to Apprenticeship Act. So that will enhance opportunities for youth. So government also coming up with partnership with UAE for skill qualification, assessment, certification, deployment of certified workforce. And next one is government also coming up with collaboration with Japan, mainly for training inter-training program, that is TITP. So it will helpful for transferring of skills, techniques and knowledge. So these are some important points under this fourth principle. So now let us see infographics. So here under education, there will be revamped post-matric scholarship schemes for welfare of SCs, 100 new Sainik schools, about 750 Ekalavya school in tribal areas. So if you are talking about the skills, that is realizing national apprenticeship training scheme for graduates and diploma holders in engineering, and partnership with Japan and as well as UAE for skill development. Okay, and if you see here GII rank, so India rank is low in 2020. We need to improve that. And if you are talking about Higher Education Commission of India, so they have 4 separate vehicles, right? They include standard setting, accreditation, regulation and funding. If you are talking about research and development, so we are coming up with this National Research Foundation with outlay of rupees 50,000 crore for 5 years. And also we are coming up with this National Language Translation Mission to boost internet access. That means we are having translation in our regional languages. And we are also focusing on Deep Ocean Mission for ocean exploration and biodiversity conservation. So this Deep Ocean Mission is not new in this budget. We already have this. Okay, we are increasing our outlay regarding this research and development regarding this Deep Ocean Mission here. And next principle is innovation and research and development. So under this, mainly we are strengthening our overall research ecosystem. We are mainly promoting digital payments, and we are also come up with this National Language Translation Mission, that is NLTM. So in this NLTM, governance and as well as policies which are regarding knowledge, they will be available in major Indian regional languages. And we are also focusing on Deep Mission, so regarding survey, exploration and as well as conservation of this deep sea biodiversity. So that thing mainly present here in this, okay, research and development. And next one is minimum government and maximum governance. So this is last principle in the part A. So under this, minimum government reforms are made in tribunals that will ensure mainly speedy justice. And if you're talking about maximum governance here, we are also coming up with National Nursing and Midwifery Commission bills. So this will provide some transparent and as well as efficient regulation in nursing education. Now let us see fiscal position. So if you see fiscal position here, GSDP, that is gross domestic state product, correct? So what happened? Central government gave permission for additional borrowing for states, mainly it providing some conditions. So based on some conditions, so if you are meeting these conditions, then you can go for additional borrowing of 0.5% of GSDP. Okay, and next one is rupees 1,18,452 crores as revenue deficit grants that is given to 17 states. Okay, so if you see this graph here, it talks about fiscal deficit. So fiscal deficit in 2020 to 21, it is 9.5. So what is fiscal deficit? You need to know some important terms, right? So already in our Hindu News Analysis, in first article, we studied about what are the basics regarding budget that you should know. We already discussed that. Fiscal deficit means total expenditure minus total revenue here. So whatever difference is present, that is called as fiscal deficit. Why fiscal deficit is high in this 2020 to 21? Here revenue side we decreased our revenue, and from expenditure side we increased our expenditure. So because of that, fiscal deficit is 9.5%. Now estimate of this fiscal deficit in financial year 2021 to 2022 here is 6.8. So why we decreased here? Because we are estimating that this revenue side will be increased. So because of revenue which is increasing, this gap will be decreased, right? So because of this, now we are estimating 6.80 fiscal deficit this year. And if you see capital expenditure, it is increasing. Okay, it is increasing constantly. So if you are talking about general government debt to GDP, that is debt to GDP ratio, it is about 74 to 75% now. And if you are talking about external debt, it also decreasing here. And next one is tax proposals. So under this tax proposals, it mainly comes under part B of union budget. So now we came to discuss this part B, that is tax proposals. So under this tax proposals, if you see here, one graph is present. So if you are comparing with 2014 and 2020, the tax filer, number of people who are filing this tax, that increased gradually, that is doubled. Okay, under this tax proposal, there is exemption from filing of income tax returns for senior citizens who are having age of more than 75 years or above. So whenever those people who have 75 years or above, so they are getting pension or they are getting interest on income they already have. So they will be exempted from income tax returns. And next one is there is reducing in time for reopening of income tax assessment. So in income tax assessment, time period which is reduced here. So because of this reduced time period, we also increased our tax filing here, mainly through this Vivad Se Vishwas scheme. And next one is whenever there is any dispute that is happening, so there is also dispute resolution committee for small taxpayers. And there is also income tax appellate tribunal, that to be made faceless. So according to Income Tax Act of 1961, we have this income tax appellate tribunal. So that is made faceless. That means there is no need of person who is filing income tax. He need to go and he need to talk in tribunal. So everything will be gone digitally. And if you see, because of this Vivad Se Vishwas scheme, additional deduction of about rupees 1.5 lakh scheme shall be available for loans taken up till 31st March 2022 for purchase of affordable houses. So if you are talking about this affordable houses, we have Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Whenever any person who is going and buying this house mainly under this scheme, so there will be tax reduction of about rupees 1.5 lakh will be given. Okay, so these are some important things. And if you are talking about indirect tax here, so rationalization of custom duty structure, mainly we are going to eliminate outdated exemptions and we are going to support MSMEs. Okay, MSMEs, they are mainly hit hardly because of COVID-19, especially because of a sharp rise in iron and steel prices. Okay, so because of this, we are going to provide some support to this MSMEs, and also rationalization of duties on raw material input, and also we are going for rationalization of custom duty on gold and silver. So whenever custom duty is decreased, then what happened? Price will be decreased in market. And increase in duty on solar inverters and lanterns to promote domestic production. So whenever we are importing this solar inverters and as well as lanterns from other countries, whenever we are imposing import duty on those products, then price of those products will be increased in domestic market. So because of this, it will protect or it will promote domestic production here. And also agriculture infrastructure and development cess on small number of items will be imposed. So these are some tax reforms in indirect taxes. And this is some interesting picture here. So this picture mainly shows rupees from where money comes or revenue of government. First one is, if you see here, large share here is here borrowing and other liabilities, they contribute about 36%. And next one is non-debt capital receipts, that will form about 5% of revenues of government. And income tax will be 14% here. And union excise duties here is 8%. Corporation tax is 13%. GST is 15%. Customs tax will be 3%. And non-tax revenues from fees, so and so, that will be from 6%. So in this context, you need to know what is this income tax, what is this corporate tax, what is this union excise duties, what is this GST, customs duty and non-tax revenues. So you have to know all these. And now let us see rupees goes out. So if you see here, largest contribution here is interest payments. So whenever we are bringing debt, we are borrowing money from other countries, so on that loans we need to pay interest rate. So interest rate we are paying here is 20% here. And the next one here is state share of taxes and duties. It is 16%. That means we have finance commission, right? Finance commission mainly says so and so percentage of money that should be given to states. So that is about 60%. 16% will be paid by center to states. And finance commission other transfers will be 10%. Center sector schemes means 100% of funding that will come from center itself. So they include 14% of revenues. And if you are talking about centrally sponsored scheme, so government is spending 9% here on this centrally sponsored scheme. And for other expenditure 10%, and pensions 5%, subsidies 8%, defense 8%. So these are expenditures of government. And if you see budget at glance here, so here we have revenue receipts and here we have capital receipts. So revenue receipts are more compared to that of the capital receipts. Here we have about 17,88,424. Okay, here we have 16,94,812 crores. So here revenue receipts are more compared to capital receipts. So if you are talking about expenditure side, we have revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. Here revenue expenditure is 29,29,000 crores. So when we are comparing with last year, it is less now, correct? And if you are talking about capital expenditure, it is very, very high when we are compared to last year. Okay, it is 55 lakhs. It is 5,54,256. So if you are adding these two and if you are adding with these two, we have deficit. Okay, we have deficit, that is fiscal deficit. And if you see allocation to major schemes, so last year, if you are comparing with this last year and this year, we are decreasing our allocation in MGNREGA. And if you are talking about PM Kisan, we have same contribution with last year and now. And from education, we are increasing our allocation. And for National Health Mission, we are increasing our budgetary allocation. And Jal Jeevan Mission also we are increasing. And for metro projects also we are increasing now, correct? So you have to see some facts regarding this MGNREGA scheme. What is this PM Kisan scheme? What is this National Health Mission? What is this National Education Mission? Jal Jeevan Mission, Amrut and Smart Cities. So whatever schemes which are present in budget, there are high chances to get questions in prelims. So please prepare about these also. And if you see major allocation, so it is mainly talking about which ministry, how much amount of money is allocated. So you can see this easily. Okay. So these are some important highlights of union budget. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.